Hey, Campus Georgia, back in the man cave. Remember this? I got it in a mail call. Huh. It's an Opinel. Wow. You know, this got me thinking all about Opinel and other Euro brands. You know, the traditional Euro style. Kind of. Let's check it out. So what got me going about this was this guy. This legend, I'm not sure, is the latest Opinel design. Kind of surprising. So I looked into it. And this is the Opinel Neo 6. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hit or miss with me, right? The other ones were Opinels, Antonini, and Cruz. They all have something. Really, I want to know. Because, to be honest, this surprises me. Before we get into this, I just want to go over some Opinel history with you, so that you know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with it, probably the most recognizable knife. Been around since 1890. It was originally designed by the Opinel family. It was a very basic knife. Hold on, let me get what you consider to be the normal one. If you watch or look through my channel, you know I'm an Opinel fan. Still am. Anyway, I'll go a little back. Most of them, the ones I'm modified. But I want to show you what everybody sees. That is this. This is an Opinel number 8. Interestingly enough, it was the original one that they made, the number 8. And they come in different sizes. They used to have the number 1 right through number 13. Basically how they numbered them was the length of the blade. And what I'm talking about is the working edge from the point here to right there where you would normally have the ricasso. So this is a number 8. And if I measure it, you'll see it comes right there. See that? 8 centimeters, right? That's how they got the number. So if you're looking at what size knife you want from an Opinel, think of it that way. Number 8, the blade length is 8 centimeters. And number 6, 6 centimeters. And that's how you'd know what you're dealing with as far as the blade size. Now obviously the handle changes to suit the blade. But like I said, originally, 1890, this was an Opinel. It looked like this, except it didn't have this little ferrule that swings around. It just was, well, it didn't have the ferrule. It just had a pin through with a steel ring to hold it there. And you could close it. It didn't lock. It didn't do anything. That's all it was. And it was popular. Then I want to say the original guy who designed it, and I forget his name, but it's either his son or his grandson, I can't remember. In 1955, he was looking into how to make an Opinel safer. Okay. So he came up with the Viro lock. Okay. And that's what we see today. This thing that swings around, but originally it only locked the blade in the open position. You could turn the ferrule. You can see there, you can open and close it. So you open the blade and then you turn the ferrule, which locks the blade in, right? Originally, it only locked in the open position. Then I believe it was in the 2000s, kinda, that they redesigned it so that when you turned the ferrule, it locked in the closed position, which made it overall safer in your pocket anyway. That was an issue that they were concerned with. Put it in your pocket, the blade opens slightly, they pointy blade, and before you know it, you've stuck something. Your finger, your leg, your pants, whatever. So that's basically the Opinel that everybody knows about. The handles, these days, you can get all sorts of different handles. They have the traditional one like this. They have different woods that they offer. They offer different blade material, carbon versus stainless. And the way you can tell the difference is if you look at the blade, this obviously you can see is carbon because it's patinaed naturally. This is a number 8. This is the first Opinel I ever bought. Still have it, still one of my favorite knives, and it is a carbon blade. And you clean it just like any carbon blade, you want to keep it clean and that sort of thing. But over time, it'll patina. I used it to cut apples, oranges, wood, anything. Carved with it, did all sorts of things with it. And over time, it just naturally patinas. Now, you can get rid of that patina if you want to, but I kind of like that. Okay? It shows it, it's a used knife. It also normally has something on the handle here, and I'll show you that stuff. All Opinels, and let me get this number Neo 6 out. All Opinels will have on the blade here a certain thing. And before I forget, when you look at those knife sizes from a 2 all the way to the 13, you got to remember that the number 2 to the number 5 don't have the viro block on it. It's just open and close, nothing locks. After that size, the 6 and up, all lock. So keep that in mind. If you want a smaller knife, they don't lock. So this is the Neo 6. And I saw this and, you know, like I said, I'm an Opinel fanboy. I love Opinel because you can do a lot with them. You've probably seen the video where I went through basically all the mods I ever did on Opinels, and I did some weird stuff, and they fun projects. Every now and again I'll pull out an Opinel and say, well, what can I do with this one? But this one, and here it is here, this is the Neo 6. I think that's how you pronounce it, but I'm just going to say that so that you know what I'm talking about. And when you first look at it, well, looks like an Opinel, right? Here I have a number 9 because I want to show you the stainless. And there's a reason for that. And what I'm talking about here is if you look at them, the shape hasn't changed. Handle's still the same. And I've got to tell you that most people, you can go and buy an Opinel and it'll feel comfortable in your hand. It's just one of those handles that, well, you don't need to modify it if you don't want to. And on the handle, you can see on this one, it says carbon, okay? And if you want to know what size the Opinel is, if you look on the ferrule here, can you see it? This says number 9. And it says carbon there, which is carbon. On every blade, it has that. Let me show you that. And what you're seeing is Opinel, and it'll say inox or carbon. Inox being the stainless, carbon being carbon. And then it has this symbol next to it. Well, what's that about? Well, it's called the crowned hand. And every Opinel blade out there has it. Okay. And if you want to know how to age your Opinel, how old is it, where does it come from, when was it made, by looking at this here and looking up the history, you can see how old your knife is. And basically what they did was that crowned hand kind of changed a little bit, and they placed it differently, like this or in a different position. My favorite size. For me, you know my hand, you can see it's all palm. I got a very wide palm, stubby fingers, and a number 9 fits my hand perfectly. And how do you know that? Look at that. My fingers are touching the pad here perfectly. That's the size I like. The most popular Opinel ever made, bought more than any other size, is the number 8, this guy here. Back to this. Why am I so interested in this guy? Well, see the blade shape? It's what I call a saber. It's got that sweep up here and comes to a point. It's flat at the bottom, curves up, comes to that nasty point there with a little dip and has a nail neck in it. A saber, whatever. Full flat grind. Here is the 6 that I'm talking about. Same shape and everything. Then I opened the blade. What do you notice? It's different. It's totally different. This is obviously stainless, and you can see it says inox there. Has Opinel, has that crowned hand. Look at that. Look at the point. It's not even the same. What? What is this? And then I'm looking at it more, and this is a number 6. And they call this, now they've never done this before, really, they call this an EDC knife, everyday carry. Originally, this is a food prep knife, really. We used it as EDCs. They worked so well, we used them for everything. So they came out with the EDC. I don't know what to think. No sharp tip on it. That saber look is gone. Okay? It's kind of sort of a drop point. Kind of. Except it doesn't come to a point. Full flat grind. Very cool. No. You got to have a point. And that surprised me. Then I looked at the whole locking system. Wait a minute. Look here. There's no locking ferrule on it. Well, what's that about? It's an EDC, they said, and that should be a, wait for it, slip joint. Right? I'm like, a slip joint. I'm looking at this. Here it is here. See that? Okay. If I turn this one around here, you can see the pin, right? Close it up. No pin. Hides it nicely. Now I'm looking at this. Now look at that. What do you notice? Look at this. Look here. It sticks out. Kind of sticks out there. They did a good job there. Not so much there. Look at that. This is not Opinel. Then I looked at how did they do the slip joint. Well, they took one ferrule. They took the other locking ferrule away, and they made this thingy in it. They punched out these 2 holes and cut it. And that is the slip joint. Now, if you watch carefully, if you watch there, see it rise up there? Whoops, let me see it. Can you see it? It sticks up. And it comes out and goes down. No lock. No lock in the closed position. EDC, remember? What do you do with your EDC? Carry it in your pocket. They took the lock away. In your pocket. It comes out. Look at that. But now, however, when you open it, watch it click in. See that? That works great. There you go. But what were they thinking? And that's why they don't have that pointy thing on there, right? Because it doesn't lock in the closed pit. Don't know what's going on there. Now, don't get me wrong. Opinel have been around forever. They made wonderful knives. They improved them, added different kinds, different handle shapes, different wood, even specialty items where they had famous artists or whatever do things to the handles and that sort of thing. They've done a lot. And this isn't all Opinel makes. They make kitchen knives, little food prep. Great knives. It's good steel. They know what they're doing. But what were they thinking? An EDC? So I did a little bit of looking up. It does have the Opinel and the inox on it and everything like that. Nothing on the handle, which is no big deal. Most people will wear that off anyway or take it off. And you can modify the handle and that sort of thing. You can do your mods that people love to do with Opinel. I don't like this whole thing here. I think they did a bad job here. Look at that. I like the idea, but it doesn't lock. It needs to lock in both positions. And honest, don't know how they did it. I haven't opened this up, and I'm not sure I want to take it apart. But I suspect... Oh, by the way, it does tell you what size it is on it. Can you see that? And it says Opinel Flex. What? This is not a Flex. This is a Neo. They're talking about the ferrule. That stainless that flexes. This thing here. That gives you the slip joint. Right? Can you tell? I don't know what to think about this. One cool thing they did was, if you look, they put this lanyard on, which is nice. But look at the lanyard hole. They put a nice little ferrule in there. Pretty cool. That's it. Now I got to say, I'm going to have to go and have a look-see again at these. This was a gift. And I love this idea. I've got all these Opinels. And I have different sizes. A lot of different sizes. See that? Opinel number 2. Number 6. They're all different sizes. Right up to 13. And they all look the same. Then they changed, well, they didn't change anything. You can still get this. This is still out there, all those sizes. But they did things like change the shape of the handle and some of the blade shapes for specific uses like florists and things like that. And it was fine. It was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. They locked. They did, everything was the same. Basically, they changed the shape and the blade shape a little bit. No big deal. What this is about, I have no idea. Okay, now I got that out of my system. Here's some more stuff about Opinel. I went on their website and this is what I found. This is how they describe their knives by size. Small utility knives, number 2 through number 5, a utility knife. No lock on them. From a number 6 all the way to 13, they lock. But number 6 to number 8, an everyday carry. I have no problem with that. It locks. I don't lock in the closed position. Then they say work knives. Number 9 through number 12. They all lock. Makes sense. Bigger knives. I mean, the number 9, it's a little bigger. The blade's bigger. A little thicker. I can see it being a working knife and up. Then the number 13, they just call the giant. And here's the interesting thing about that. Originally, it was made as a display thing. Shops that sold Opinel knives would put this, they made this big number 13 that they used as a display item to put in your window to show you were an Opinel dealer. You sold Opinel. And they became so popular they made it an actual knife. Here's my personal thing. I like to modify Opinels. And this only comes in a number 6, by the way. It's pretty cool. It's a nice size, and a lot of people like this size. I like Opinel because I have all them up, and I have some old ones and some new ones and some different blade shapes. Here is an original Opinel. So look at the handle. It's different. It locks. Look at the blade. It's not a drop point. It's a spear point. See that? And that's original. That's it right there. Pretty cool. I like that. One of the first mods I ever did. I didn't know they had this. and I modified this guy. See what I did to it? Almost the same thing, and made it a drop point. Close instead of a spear. I like a drop point. Now here, I've been lucky and found a couple of Opinels out there that were, I could look them up, and they were a little bit older and that sort of thing. And the first thing you'll notice, when you look at it, it looks like an Opinel, right? A regular Opinel, nothing. No change, it just looks like an Opinel. This one is a number 8. See it? Look what's on the handle. Okay. And then remember, I told you about the crowned hand. Look at that. See that? It just says Opinel, and in line with it is the crowned hand. So you can actually see what I'm talking about. There. See the difference? That's what I'm talking about. The way they move that around, what they put on their blade, helps you identify what year it was made, and it's pretty cool. What's the big deal? This one locks open and closed. This one's closed, and I can't turn the ferrule. I can't lock it. Okay? But if I open it, I can turn the ferrule, and it's locked. It doesn't lock in the closed position. So what does that tell you? This knife is from before 1955. I found it in an antique store, and I think I paid $20 for it. And if you look on the actual ferrule, it says something different, and it says number 8 Viroblock Brevet. See there? So that's different. Anywho, that's how you can figure out how old they are. They all have their own little specialty thing going on. Here's a number 7 I found. Or maybe it was sent to me. I can't remember. Looks like an Opinel. It's a little floppy. It's a bit worn. There we go. Number 7, right? Has something on the handle. See that? And if you look on the blade, Opinel, France, and look where the crowned hand is. Different, right? This one locks in the closed position and in the open position. Pretty cool. After 1955. So 2 little classics there, which I kind of like that. I would never modify those. They stay the way they are. Mods I've done. Well, I've done a lot. I'm just going to randomly pull some out here, and you can see. I put a bone, modified the handle, made it into a Warrenclyffe whittler, which I call the tadpole. See that? Great for whittling. All number 9s. I've done a lot of that stuff. My most popular short I've ever done, this is it right here. Very plain. I just cut off the end, rounded it off, shortened the blade, patinaed the blade, and made it kind of a spay blade. Yeah. Very cool. So there you go, Opinel. I'm kind of disappointed in this because it doesn't lock in the closed position. I can modify this. It's number 6. You can make some modifications. You can do all the stuff I did to it. And unlock in the closed position. I'm not sure about the slip joint. But it is cool. It's something different. And you know what? If a company wants to stay in business, they got to stay with it. So you can't just live off your original forever. And that's what they've done. And they've always done a good job of offering different options to the original. Then they have specialty ones, classic ones where they only had so many that they made, handle changes, special work done on the handles and that sort of thing. They offer a lot. They even offer this, and I did not know about that, a knife Look at the handle. You can modify it. It's the original, whatever you want to call it. It's just a blank handle. They did that because so many people had fun modifying their knives. And the handle was the most common thing, but you were limited because all the handles looked like that. So they gave you the original blank on a blade with everything, without shaping the handle. So you could do more, which is very cool. Anywho, so there you go. Just wanted to talk about the Neo 6. I'm kind of surprised, and it's going to be interesting to see how well it does. I personally don't think it's an EDC, simply because you put an EDC in your pocket and it doesn't lock in the closed position. There's no point on the blade. My thoughts on Opinel now: I'll still buy Opinel number 9s and modify them because they're still the same as they ever were forever, and they're fun to do. My little rant about Opinel and the Neo 6. I mentioned 2 other knives from different manufacturers. This was a knife I came across when I was doing I wanted to look at Euro knives, traditional Euro knives, and I found these guys, which is Antonini out of Italy, and they make a series called the Old Bear. And I was like, I saw a picture and I said, no way, let me have a look at this. And it comes with, in this box, there's a nice paperwork with it, very cool. Here it is here. Look at that. It looks like a bare bones Opinel, doesn't it? Right? It's locked in the closed position. And they didn't copy Opinel, okay? They have this thing here. And what that does is if I slide this around, I can open the knife and then slide it back down and it's locked. So it opens and closes and locks in both positions. And there you have it there. Very Opinel-ish, right? Look at that blade. But here's the thing. This is not a patent blade. Anybody can make a saber. So there was no issue there. And of course they put that on it. Pretty cool. They have different handle sizes, shapes, sizes, that sort of thing. And I looked at this locking system, and it actually works very well. You can close it, lock it, you can't get the blade out. You open it, lock it, and there it is. Now the difference on this one is, see this here? I find that when I hold the knife, look where my thumb is, it's pressing right on that thing. And that happens to keep it from opening, or this moving back and the blade moving, which turned out to be a good thing. I don't know if that was part of the design, but for me it works really well. This is kind of an in-between a 7 and an 8 Opinel, and that's Antonini. You want to know more about him? Go to their website. I'll find the website. I'll put a link below. They don't just make these. They make a lot of knives. Some very nice knives. And if I remember, I think they... Oh, okay, they do. It's called the Lupo. L-U-P-O. See there? That's what they call their locking system. And it says something else here. It says Brev N1187, which I think is like a pattern. But it's a pretty cool knife. And I have 2. This was sent to me in that same mail call. And I love the Old Bear. It works great. Works great. It's a beautiful little knife. And they have all those options. We have different material for the wood, for the handle, and that sort of thing. Plus they have other typical knives. But I wanted to show you that if you're looking for an option on an Opinel. And then I found these guys who I knew very little about. Never heard of them before. Came with a nice leather sheath. Same mail call. Jose de Cruz. See that? Okay. And I thought, that's unusual. Let's see. And it says Jose de Cruz, Portugal. Palaculo, Portugal. Where that is. Oh, I know where Portugal is, but I don't know where that specific town is. It comes in that little cardboard box. There it is, yeah. See that? It's actually not a bad looking knife. If you open it, the nail nick is really small. But you can get your finger in there and you can pull it open, and look at that. It locks. Oh, got to get it tight. Locks tight. Look at that blade shape. It's almost a drop point. Well, it is a drop point. Look at that. It's not a saber, and it's not a full flat grind. You can see it's got the first and then a second grind there, and it's got that on there. Very nice knife. I like this. I don't know how much they cost. I'm not sure. I like the blade shape, and basically, well, it's that Opinel style lock. Look at it. Right? Does it lock when it's closed? No. It doesn't lock closed. So there's that. Handle shape, straightforward, just straight back. And of course, this is a little different. But I thought that was pretty cool. I'd never heard of Jose Cruz. And I went to a small website, not a big company, and they have a bunch of knives. And they look very nice. But on this one, I do like that blade shape. Very nice. Very nice. So there you go. I was having a moment when I saw the Opinel Neo 6. I'm saying I'm disappointed is a little harsh. I'm more surprised that they did that and thought it would be okay. What do you guys think? Now I think I need to get another Opinel 9 and mod it. Just saying. In the comments, tell me what you think. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. Got things to do, projects to do, all sorts going on. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. Had to get it out. I don't feel too good, so I'm taking it out on Opinel. We'll see you again soon.